Yesterday, 6 months after the devastating Palisades and Eaton fires, California Governor Gavin Newsom unveiled $101 million in funding for multifamily low income housing development that will contribute to a more equitable and resilient Los Angeles. Earlier this year, the Center Square broke news that a local Los Angeles ordinance modeled on current California state laws requires fire destroyed rent protected housing, which includes all apartments in the Pacific Palisades built before October of 1978, to be replaced with low income housing because the affordability requirements use city level income data, not more local incomes. Definitions for low and very low income housing reflect much lower incomes than the norm for the affluent Palisades community. This is just another example of how out of touch California has become. We need more affordable housing, of course, but they need to base it on data that actually works so that it won't be obsolete as soon as it's put out, as in this case. And between this development and the ongoing tensions between ICE and rioters in LA, questions of safety, leadership, and unity are front and center. One gubernatorial candidate is taking a different approach. Through his work with Breaking Barriers United, he's been bridging the divide between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Joining us to share his vision for California, his response to Governor Newsom's lawsuit against President Trump, and what real leadership looks like in uncertain times is Ryan Tillman. Ryan, welcome to the program.
Hey, good afternoon, Stacy. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon.
You know what I love about this is you have prior law enforcement experience. My dad was a law enforcement officer, two careers in the military and then one in the private sector. So it's a thing that's near and dear to my heart. And now you're taking that service from the streets and law and order and public service to hopefully the governor's mansion. Talk about your campaign and how you got started this way.
Yes, man. Well, as a police officer for 13 years, one of the things I got to see the most was I saw all the decisions that were made, in what I like to call the glass palace and how it actually affected people on the streets. And I think there was a huge disconnect between our politicians and the people that are actually being affected by the policies in place. So over time, as I became a police officer and got to understand the what, the why, and the how of what we do in law enforcement, I realized that there is a much deeper need for people to be connected with the people, everyday people in the streets, everyday people that are everyday Californians. So I wanted to take my service to another level and be able to see, it's one thing to talk about how bad California is. It's one thing to talk about how everybody's leaving California, but it's another thing to actually get involved. And I believe that police officers or first responders in general, we have a very unique place where when it comes to politics, because we actually have done all the things or seen all the things that affect people every single day. So for as it relates to quality of life, crime in the streets, as it relates to mental illness, substance abuse, I've had to manage those situations, and I've also had to be able to learn how to bring calm to people's storms, and that's what I want to do in the governor's mansion.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.